If you knew me before, you wouldn't even look my way. If I had the nerve to speak, you wouldn't hear what I say. Time has come and gone so fast, we're not who we used to be.
And welcome back to Sullivan's Unheard Voices. I'm here with Kelly.
Hi.
One of my favorite metal singers out there.
Oh, thanks.
Because I have to say, like, right, when I heard you sing for the first time, it's like the one area of my voice that I'm never able to get to.
Oh, the distortions? Like,
yeah, it's tough, man. Like that. I don't think people realize how tough singing metal actually is. How'd you get started?
So it's just, well, we can start with the mechanics of the voice if you're curious.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's a lot of air. Distortion is just air, right? So if and there's different types of like screams, if you will, different types of distortions, right? There's the biggest two ones are called vocal fry, which is based off of that the ring sound, right? But again, it's air and it's a little more advanced than that. I'm not good at fry screams, but it's basically, so if you do that so it's kind of a quieter scream. I mean, people that can actually do it well can project a little more, but that's the base of that, right? And the other one is called false fold screams. So you have your true folds, which vibrate to give you, tone, anything, talking, singing, what have you. And then there's false folds, I believe, are right above that in your throat, that can add extra vibration. And so that's what I do, false fold scream. So if you ever heard of Tuvan throat singing or Mongolian throat singing, that noise.
Yeah.
So that's your false folds vibrating with your true folds coming through as well. That's why you can pitch it, right? That. And then if you just add air to that, it's a distortion. So I'm just contracting my diaphragm a little bit and adding more air. So that's all that is. So that's what I do. How did I get started? I don't know. It's when I was a kid, like 13 or 14, I got into nu metal. That was my entryway into metal, which I'm sure all real metalheads will roll their eyes at majorly. But I don't know. It's like engineered music to speak to disaffected young people, right? So it's like, of course, it's like, oh man, you're singing about being sad, but you're mad about being sad. And it's like, who doesn't relate to that when they're a teenager, right? So yeah, I just like started screaming along to stuff in the car, and I think that's how everybody kind of starts. Like you hear something, oh cool, and you just like kind of instinctively start trying to make that noise. There's a big misconception that it's damaging to your vocal cords, and don't get me wrong, if you're doing it wrong, like you don't have the right technique, there's a very small chance you can hurt yourself, but it's almost never permanent. And if you have technique, you shouldn't be hurting yourself. Like if you're doing it correctly, there's no pain, or like maybe some discomfort, but it's like not damaging discomfort. So yeah, I listen to metal to scream along to that. I have I think Corey Taylor is like the easiest thing for me, because like I like to say, I'm from Florida, and for me it's just like hillbilly yelling. So Rob Zombie and like Corey Taylor was really easy because he was like oh, that kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's just what comes out. So I kind of got out of the metal scene, or away from metal music, just because the nu metal scene was kind of like the misogyny and the toxicity of that scene kind of was hard to ignore after a while. It's like, being a young woman and a lesbian, especially like in that environment, it's like, this doesn't feel great anymore. I kind of want to do that. And plus, like, I don't know, all people tend to lose their fanaticism with music over time. Like you're never more passionate about a band than when you're a teenager, right? That just is the thing. So it was a combination of that, just like being a little less angry. I had a lot of rage issues when I was a kid. Thus the nu metal was a very fun, appropriate space for that. But I kind of just lost it. And then it's like 4 or 5 years ago, I was on some nostalgia trip, and I put on a couple old albums like Drowning Pool and like Slipknot's self-titled and Mudvayne's albums and stuff. And I was screaming along, and I was like, I wonder if like I tried to do this, if I could do this, like it's fun to like scream your guts out and in the car and be like, okay, well now I can't talk, or be at a show and you're screaming so loud, and the next day you're like, oh dude, I can't talk. But I wonder if I like tried to do this, if I could do it. And so I did. I looked online. It was really important to me that I find a female vocal coach that did, either extreme vocals is what it's called, or distorted vocals. And I found a woman named Aliki Katsrio, who's Greek Kiwi, who lives in Croatia currently, and she's a death metal vocalist, and she's incredible. She's not just a death metal vocalist; she's also she's basically like a certified vocal health person. She knows all the biology, the anatomy, and everything about singing. She's like she can do anything from opera to death metal, and it's like she's just an incredible person, very funny. And I took a couple lessons with her for about, I don't know, once a month for about 10 months. And just kind of work on technique a little bit. And then I was like, well, now I got to get in a band. Did that answer your question, John?
100%. Yeah. But I want to go back for a second, because you talked a little bit about like your first sort of venture into sort of new metal, you were saying, right? Mm-hmm. So what's the difference between like metal and new metal? And
oh God, how much time do you have?
We have an hour, so we're good.
Do you have a comment section on this podcast, because we're about to get into some very niche fights? So the amount of subgenres there are of metal, right? I mean, like taking it, all the way back to Black Sabbath, R.I.P. Ozzy, God. So like that's the big contention. It's like, who started metal, right? Was it Black Sabbath, or was it Deep Purple, or was it people will throw Led Zeppelin in there from time to time, and it's like, what is that sound? What qualifies as that, right? But so like, if you want to take it that far, I say that Black Sabbath is definitely the progenitor of metal. But it's basically just heavy, low, distorted guitars. What we would call Black Sabbath doom metal now, because it's like a slower, sludgier sound, which sludge is actually its own genre too. Never get them confused. It's like, I'm telling you, man, the nitpicky stuff. But so new metal, what is metal? A lot of people will even cite older heavy metal, which is technically like the new wave of British heavy metal, which is like Maiden. I mean, people sometimes even throw Motorhead in there, but Motorhead was kind of its own thing. But Maiden, Judas Priest, that kind of stuff. There's like a million, except there's a bunch of guys like that if people will think that's metal, right? But then you could say, okay, well, people will think Metallica, like the big four of thrash, right? We got Metallica, Megadeth, Anthrax, and Slayer. That's thrash metal. So we were already getting into subgenres, right? So I guess true metal, if we want to split hairs, is really based in classical music, whereas a lot of rock all rock is based almost exclusively in blues, right? And so blues and jazz. So there are some jazz influences in true metal. I hate saying these things. For what it's worth, I don't care about any of this. Yeah. It's genres are one of those things that are helpful to know, but don't really matter. Like it's instructive to have a conversation. It's like shorthand, right? If you could split your subgenre hairs so specifically, it'd be like, I like atmospheric sludge metal or depressive black metal. It's like, oh, I know exactly what we're talking about sonically right now. So it's just a shorthand. But at the end of the day, it's all music. And the only barrier to entry should be that you like it. Right.
100%.
The hair splitting of the genres is just silly.
Yeah.
And causes infighting for no reason.
And I've said this on the podcast before, but like my first introduction to music really was Metallica Black.
Nice. Yeah.
And I hated it the first time I heard it. Because I didn't understand it.
Yeah.
Because like I'm used to like my dad's music and all that stuff was like that from that 60s era and stuff like that. And so like I just liked the cover of the album. But then I listened to it like 7 more times and it clicked. I'm like, oh, I get it. Like it's supposed to be angry.
Yeah.
It's supposed to have this sort of emotional sort of feeling inside. And I'm uncomfortable because I've never really explored that piece of emotion in my own self. And so that was the introductory, if you will, into sort of music as a therapy for getting out aggression.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that's what it's for. Like the music is a fantastic outlet for all emotions. And, anger is one that we should have to contend with too. And I think it's a safe and healthy way, especially going to shows, right? I think that's why it's so addictive for people that are in the metal scene is to have that environment, because we're all here for the same reason and we're all here having a good time. I mean, it should be like that. Don't get me wrong, there are jerks in every scene, but like, there's an etiquette to these things and we're all here to beat each other up for fun. As long as we're all playing by those rules and helping people when they fall down, it's all good. Okay, so new metal. So we take metal, whatever that means, and I think again, I would say that people usually cite some combination of the thrash and heavy metal as like that's what metal is. But yeah, based off classical music, if you listen to a lot of those riffs that are really complex, there's like it's Beethoven, it's Bach, man. It's like it's really that kind of thing versus the blues, more swingy, more You know what I mean? Like there's less of that inflection. It's all about technicality. Metal.
Oh, hold on.
What happened?
All right, and we're back.
Oh yeah, it still says 10 minutes. That's cool. Well, at least it keeps it. That'd be a bummer. So yeah, metal's all true metal's based on classical music. You can really hear the influences of like Bach, Beethoven, whatever. That's that technical piece of it that's a little different from blues. I mean, don't get me wrong, there's really technical, especially jazz too, crazy technical stuff. But like it's that technicality that it's all guitar forward. Metal is guitar forward. That's what the loudest voice should be in the mix, or at least that's how it was, right? That's one of the defining characteristics is those big guitars, big distorted guitars. So new metal took that combination of, let's say, thrash, heavy metal, or like speed metal, gosh, and added like hip hop influences a little bit. Like that was the biggest thing that people constantly say. And it was a big difference, but it's like funk. I mean, Korn, right? Korn is like the OGs of new metal.
Korn and Limp Bizkit.
Yeah, well, Korn, Limp Bizkit, Slipknot gets thrown in there too. Deftones gets thrown in there too. It's Linkin Park. I mean, it's kind of a nonsensical thing at the end. It's System of a Down. It's just like, of all those bands that came up through the early 90s to like the early aughts that had any kind of funk, hip hop, DJ. If there's a DJ in the band, it's new metal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if somebody's going wicka wicka, it's new metal. You know, so that's the difference. And it does sound, but like if you listen to Iowa, man, there's like a blast beat, like the opening the record. I'm pretty sure it's like the first or second track, and that's death metal, man. Like, you know, it's that's why the genres, again, they're useful to a point. But that's, yeah, I guess the new metal sound would be metal, heavier metal, not heavy metal, but it's like closer to like death,
I get what
or groove metal, I guess. And hip hop influences. But then there's been a revival, actually. There's like in the last 5 or 6 years, there's a lot of bands coming out that are like doing the new metal thing. The kids, they love the new metal. They found MySpace and they love the new metal, and they love Deftones, unfortunately, because now their tickets are insane. I got to see them at a relatively small place for not $1 million. And now the children, now I can only see them at the Moda Center. And it's so sad, but good for them. I mean, God, what a career, man. Anyway.
Yeah. That's actually one of my favorite songs on the whole planet is actually the one, Passenger
with Maynard on it.
Maynard on it.
I mean, White Pony is an untouchable album, start to finish.
That's 100% true.
It's just true.
So then you were saying like you sort of got into this music, you're starting to do the vocal coach, and then you're like, okay, now I got to get into a band. Mm-hmm. What was the first band you got into?
Thrash Course. Thrash Course is my first and only band. Well, not only.
Yeah.
I'm in another band called Shrews now. Both. I'm in both. I didn't leave Thrash Course. Yeah, I don't know. The origin story of that, I guess, is my ex-wife's cousin's then husband. How many layers of separation can we get here? Is in a punk band out of Portland called The Seditionists. And he's also in the punk band 1876, who is amazing. It's an all indigenous band, and they are incredible, man. They anyway, 1876. If you don't know them by now, you will shortly. They were doing a house show. The Seditionists were doing a house show, and they had Thrash Course play. And at the time, it was just our drummer Elliot, rhythm guitarist Mike, and our principal songwriter and lead guitarist Amitai. It was just the three of them playing instrumental, which they had always just been an instrumental band. The band itself is like a kind of a brainchild of Amitai. He's been working on these songs for like 10 years, just like trying to find people to play with them and you know, shopping them and changing them throughout the years. And so I was like, man, this band is rad. They need a vocalist. So I just went on a mission to like the next show or two they played. I saw Elliot at another Seditionist show, and I was like, hey man, you know, I don't want to bug you or anything, but I'm just saying, like, you know, if you guys want a vocalist, yeah, I'm available, you know. And he was like, okay, I'll let Amitai know. And then I went to their next show, which was at a Chinese place called Canton Phoenix in Tigard, which was awesome. It was like an open mic, but they got a 30-minute set there. And they just picked up Darren, who's our bassist, and he didn't know all the songs yet. So for our longest song, which is 10 minutes long, he was just playing the didgeridoo instead of playing his bass. And for some reason, the guy running sound put the mic right inside of the end of so all you could hear blown out through the whole 10-minute song. It was like a mess. But even then I was like, great, you guys are just ramshackle enough that I have a chance. So I'm be like, okay, just want to remind you, if you want a vocalist, I'm available. So yeah, then Amitai contacted me like a month after that and was like, hey, do you want to audition? And I was like, yeah. So he sent me a couple of songs, or I think I did like bad karaoke versions of like a Slayer song, or like some other thing. And he was like, yeah, okay, well here's a couple of our tracks, see what you want to do. And so I just did some whatever nonsense over our song called Shivans, and he was like, all right, great, come to practice. And so that was it. So, and then he held my emotions hostage for about 3 months, and then I was like, okay, well, you're in the band. I was like, after like several practices, I was like, am I in this band? I don't know. But yeah, it's, I'm always gonna be grateful for all of them for agreeing to. I have no prior experience. It's not like I don't have the chops per se. I mean, whatever. I'm an okay vocalist, but like, if you don't have experience, there's a lot of difference between being a theoretical band member and actually being one, right? Like being a bedroom vocalist, no shame. Working with people is a lot different. And then like music production is easier than ever to access. Like music tools are easier than ever to access. So there's tons of bedroom artists, bedroom artists meaning people that make music by themselves in a room, not like bedroom music artists that they don't work with people. Right. So when you have sole control over a project, it's a lot different than, 5 separate people with opinions and drive or goals. It's a different thing. So for them to take a chance on somebody with no experience, and even live sound, right? Like even playing music live, never done it. I mean, it's karaoke a couple of times, but not, it's a different thing, and it's nerve wracking, and it's not for everybody. And you can think that it's something you could do, and then be like, shit, I can't. So now they're in the lurch, right? And so yeah, I'll always be grateful for them for letting me join. And then we played a show last April, I think, in the place that's that direction. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so bad with directions. Route 30 Burgers and Brews in a place that is east. And with Nerve Damage and Trues and Backseat Plastic. And the guys from Trues hit me up like 4 or 5 months after that. We're like, hey, do you want to be our vocalist? Because it was so Trues is also a crossover thrash band, but more leaning towards the hardcore sound. And it's Al, Brady, and Malloy. Al is the lead guitarist and only vocalist. Well, Brady does backing vocals too, but he was like, every time I play and sing, my hand seizes up because I'm so focused on doing my vocals that I halfway through the set, my arm is killing me. And I would really like to have a dedicated vocalist. Do you want to do it? And I was like, yeah, I would love to, but I have these conditions now, right? Because for Thrash Course, I do basically all the social media. I'm the one, I was the one solely booking shows. I mean, Amitai would help. I don't want to discredit anybody, but everybody in our band has full-time jobs. Both my bands. It's we're all in our 30s and 40s. We all have jobs. We all have commitments. It's really hard to dedicate a ton of time to a project. Practicing is one thing. We can all make that commitment, but the extras of, I make all of our merch, it's a lot. So I was like, I can't be that for a whole other band. I can show up and do my vocals, but if I have to we practice for Thrasher, we practice in my garage. So it's I've kind of arranged the majority of the stuff for the band to be able to do what it does. And I was like, I can't, I don't have the emotional, mental, physical, whatever. I don't have the space to do that. So so if you can let me just show up and you guys do literally everything else, I'm happy to join. He's like, yeah, no problem. I was like, oh my God. And let me tell you, it is a dream. It is a treat to just be able to walk up and be like, all right, thanks guys, gotta see you later. Because I don't have to think about it. But yes, that is my origin story in the metal scene.
And I appreciate that so much, because one of the things that I reiterate to folks, especially if they don't know a lot about music, is just how much work it takes, and yet the pay for musicians in this area is usually not enough to support somebody full time. And so when you talking about how all your band members also have jobs, and I think of how many people I interview that are also the same way, and it's in a way, I appreciate that, because that they're doing the music for the passion of doing music.
Oh, the love of the game is all we have, man. I think that if you as a person are under the delusion that the music industry as it was existed like it did even in the 90s, that is gone, my friend. That is gone. So yeah, there you can't with like the amount of musicians and incredible musicians that exist currently. Like I said, the access to music production is cheaper and easier than ever. You're not getting that money, and we don't do it for the money because, like, I interrupt my own thought to give you my 90-second spiel on the Portland music scene. So if you enjoy heavy music, Portland is the heavy music capital of America, almost the world, but we're second to Scandinavia. We have over 150 active punk, metal, hardcore bands. We have 70 plus venues. Not all of them are metal venues, don't get me wrong, but we have excellent heavy music almost every night of the week. You can see exceptional musicians for $10, sometimes a lot of times free. So if you like heavy music, support the scene. The scene is good. The scene is strong. Please and thank you. All that to say, we do a ton of free shows. We do $5 shows. I mean, Trues, I don't think we've taken any money from a show maybe since I've joined. We always either play the cheapest shows, ideally free shows that we can, and then we usually just give the money back to the venue or the bar or whatever, because it's like it's such a it's nothing, like I don't want to be disrespectful. I greatly appreciate people supporting us, but it's more, I would much rather pump that back into the community than take the money that we don't necessarily need. Like, I need money. I love money. Please, can I have some money? But it's not, I'd rather give that $60 back to somebody else that can perpetuate, maybe we can keep the lights on now for another band. You know what I mean? Like it makes way more sense to me. So, yeah, there's no money. Yeah. Unless you're really, don't get me wrong. Dying Wish, much love to Dying Wish. They are like a kind of a crossover hardcore band at this point. They have a lot of metalcore influences, but they are gigantic and it happened fast, man. Like, I'm sure it wasn't fast for them. I'm sure they've been doing it for a while, but it was like within the last 4 years, they are one of the biggest hardcore bands on the planet, and they're from Portland. Yeah. And that's because they give back. They do this show at Roseland, I guess, every year. I just went last year, Dying Wishmas, where they bring on all the local hardcore boys, and like, it's so cool, man. Like, they definitely didn't pull the ladder up behind them. They care about the community. They still care about Portland. And Dying Wish might be making money at this point now that they're playing international giant festivals. They might be making money. Everybody else, not so much.
And one of the things too that I also want people to understand, especially when you have bands like yours, is that if you go to one of your shows, you don't have to get into the mosh pit.
No.
Like, because I think one of the misconceptions that I've heard from a few people is like, I don't go to these shows because I'm so afraid of getting injured in the mosh pit. And it's like, if you want to, great. But if you don't, there's spots for you at these shows where you can just observe and take in the music.
100%. Yeah. My mission as a person, and with Thrash Course, because again, luckily the guys have given me basically control over the band. I mean, musically, we all have an opinion, don't get me wrong, but as far as our message, our goals, and that kind of thing, they defer to me a lot, which I appreciate. But my thing is, metal is for everyone, man. I mean, look at me. I don't fit. I don't belong, right? Like, I don't wear the uniform, right? I think that's so embarrassingly stupid and gatekeepy. And don't get me wrong, I haven't ever felt really unwelcome, except for maybe at one or two hardcore shows. Just showing up as myself. At first, I was a little nervous because I was like, I don't want to have to change who I am to do this, because I don't think there shouldn't be a subscription that you have to adhere to in order to enjoy music. The only thing should be that you like it and you're not a jerk when you show up. Like, that's really it. If you like the music, please welcome. And you don't have to get into the mix. And Portland is really funny because for having such a big heavy music scene, we are notorious, nationally, for not moshing. So if you do like heavy music, we are the tamest crowds you can probably again, outside hardcore is the exception to every rule. The hardcore
Right.
kids always go nuts. But yeah, people will remark big national bands and be like, why don't you come on, Portland, move? We're like, nope, not today. Not ever, sir. Thank you though. But yeah, there's always a space. And I again, as part of my personal thing, is that if metal is for everybody, that means that we need to make a space for everybody. And you don't have to get punched in the face. Sometimes you want to get punched in the face. Sometimes you don't. And that's fine. You should be able to be here too. There's always a wall you can suck yourself to. You'll be fine. Yeah. And if somebody gives you a hard time, I mean, if you're at one of my shows, if somebody makes you feel weird or uncomfortable, please tell me personally, because I have no qualms about being like, sorry, you got to get out of here, buddy. Like I don't want that because I felt like that, like such an outsider. Just again, being a lesbian, like an obvious lesbian, wearing a bow tie at a metal show, it's like, are you lost? Are you doing Doctor Who cosplay? I'm like, no, I happen to be a fan of this music. Thank you. But actually, here's my mandatory Hard Pill plug too. Hard Pill is my favorite band in Portland. Don't tell any of the other bands. That and
We'll edit that out.
so but yeah, Hard Pill's like you can't even, they're like a heavy band, but I don't know, like they a little bit of hardcore, a little bit of lots of other stuff. They're really irreverent. And the first time I saw them, I was like totally blown away. Well, for one thing, Duncan, their vocalist, they had just let go their drummer, and Duncan's also a drummer. He plays drums in Lesser Animal and in Black Church, and he's just a maniac, man. So they just let go their drummer. So Duncan was playing the drums, intense drum work, some blast beats, like intense drum work, and doing his vocals at the same time. And I was like, what is this? And he put his drum kit sideways so that he could like look out. I was like, this is insane. And they were having so much fun. And I hadn't really seen, not that people are miserable playing music. I mean, unless you're in a black metal band and that's your whole point of existence, is to look as miserable as possible while you're playing. They were just having so much fun, and they didn't seem to care. Like, everybody's welcome. Everybody, like, who cares about a genre? Who cares about, anything? We're just showing up and doing what we want because, like, maybe we're a hardcore band, but that doesn't mean we have to hate it. Like, I don't know. They just like have way more of an open mind and just way less of a, like, caring about anybody else's opinion, and they just have so much fun doing it. So that like totally blew me away and made me feel a lot more confident about me. I was like, if they can show up as themselves, doing whatever they want, anywhere they want, then that means that it should be okay for me too, right? Like, why can't I do that? So I mad respect to Hard Pill, Jackson, Trey, Scott, Duncan. I love those guys. So that they let me have like the coolest moment of my entire life.
Please tell us.
So Duncan had I don't know, I mean, it was on the news, so I'm sure he doesn't care. Everybody on the planet knows this by now. So Duncan unfortunately was in a stabbing incident at his workplace. He got stabbed 5 times and almost died. And it was right before a show they were supposed to do at Bossa Nova with CKY and Lesser Demons. Yeah, they're really cool too. They're local guys. But so yeah, it happened on like a Sunday night. It's just like terrible. It was unprovoked. A woman at work attacked him. Anyway, yeah, gnarly stuff. I'm so glad he's alive because that's really scary. His lung got punctured and everything, and he got right back at it like 2 months later. I was like so impressed, man. Yeah, he's a beast. Anyway, yeah, Jackson IM'd me, or what's it called? DM'd me. I am. How old am I?
We all get what you mean, though.
Yeah. DM'd me like Monday. He got stabbed on a Sunday, Monday night. He was like, hey, we have a show. There's a Friday or Saturday or something like that. And Duncan can't make it. We really don't want to cancel. Can you fill in for him? And I was like, what? And Bossa Nova is not only the biggest venue by far I have ever played, but it's like your favorite band being like, hey, do you want to just play with us? Like, oh my God. So yeah. So I mean, Jackson was like, you already know all the songs, and there's a couple I had to learn real quick, but yeah, I did it, and it was just incredible, man. It was absolutely incredible. Definitely the coolest thing that ever happened to me. And then they let me do vocals on their new album's coming out July 31st. Confusion Range, and I am doing guest vocals on the title track Confusion Range, and they let me shoot a music video with them. Just the coolest shit that's ever happened to me is all because of Hard Pill. So I can't do anything but give them all that love back because yeah, they're great. Hard Pill loves you.
That's so awesome. So the question I've been curious about is, how did you come up with the idea or the concept of the bow tie? Because I love it.
Oh,
and I love all of the bow ties that you have.
Thank you. I hate to break this to you, Sean. I did not invent the concept of the bow tie.
Okay.
I don't know who. I should know that. That'd be a fun fact to pull out. No, I was a very like, I think I was like a lazy mall goth kid when I was younger. And then when I kind of got out of that, I went into lazy butch lesbian uniform, which is cargo shorts and like a t-shirt. And that was all fine. And no disrespect, cargo shorts are handy. T-shirts are comfortable. I get it. And it's not like I don't wear t-shirts. I don't wear cargo shorts anymore though. Those did get permanently retired. But I don't know, like 12 years ago ish. 10, 11 years ago, something like that. I was just like, I want to feel a little more like confident. I don't know. I think like just dressing a little more, it sounds so funny, but like dressing a little more business casually just makes me feel like, I don't know, it makes people like more approachable. Like I can't tell you how many times I get like stopped places and like, oh, can you help me do this? Cause they think I work there, or like, I try to always have a smile on my face, and I try to be friendly, and like, and I want that. I think that like, unfortunately, when you are a minority, you often get turned into an ambassador, whether you like it or not.
Oh, I know that all about with my autism. I experience that all the time.
Right. So it's like
Yeah.
you've got to be on your best behavior, because what if this is the only interaction they have with one of your and you don't want it to be a bad one, right? So it's like, so I try to be friendly, and I'm like, I would like to consider myself a friendly person anyway, but it's like dressing in a way that not only, I don't know, for better or worse, I'm not critiquing. I hope everybody understands, like, I'm not putting a judgment on anybody dressing however they want to. I'm saying for me personally, I think dressing in a way that's a little more, like approachable, I guess, a little more, it makes me feel more confident, because I'm like, oh, I look nice, and looking nice helps your self-esteem. And it's like somebody who has had low self-esteem still does their whole life. It's like, okay, well, at least I like look nice, and I don't know. So the bow tie, I was like, I did wear regular ties for a minute, and then I was like, meh. And then my ex-wife was like, have you ever worn a bow tie? I was like, no. And so I did. I was like, and I went on YouTube and I watched this like 2-minute tutorial like 600 times. Like, how do you do? Okay. So I can tie a bow tie for what it's worth. But then when I was in Bulgaria, we were at this like street fair thing, and they were selling wooden bow ties. And I was like, what? Wooden bow tie? What? And that was like in 2016. So ever since then, I was like, well, it's wooden ones for me. They're a lot faster and easier, and they look cool. And yeah, so they're just like, I'm sure they're just laser cut, little, but I don't know, they're fun. So yeah, it definitely became the look, and it's really helpful because people remember you. It's like, oh yeah, that lesbian with the bow tie. Right. Yeah. At the metal show, the one and only lesbian with the bow tie at the metal show. Right. So it's been really helpful for like networking and stuff. You're like, oh yeah, no, I remember seeing you around. Yeah, just kind of works. So now it's like I'm locked into this brand, but it's like, well, I like it, so it's not a problem.
Oh, I love it. I love everything about it. Yeah. Yeah. I was like, yeah, it's one of the things that was just like, oh, that is so cool.
Thank you.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I've always wanted to ask sort of like a singer about is memorizing lyrics. Because like that's one of the things I struggle with, right? Because is memorizing lyrics. It's the one thing that's ever stopped me from being like in a band or even like approaching that, is because I just can never remember the lyrics.
I will tell you, it's even if you write them, it's still hard.
Okay.
Because I forget words to our songs all the time, especially our 10-minute song. Jeez Louise, that thing is brutal. But my biggest thing, so like for when Hard Pill asked me to help them, right? So there's 3 songs I had to learn really quick. And don't get me wrong, I still got like 1 or 2 words wrong on the day, but nobody will know. That's the other beautiful thing about being doing distorted vocals, is no one can understand what you're saying 90% of the time. So even if you aren't actually saying words, it doesn't matter.
That's fair.
So that is one cheat immediately. But the way that I learn songs the fastest is make a playlist with the songs you're trying to learn, put that thing on repeat. And the number one most helpful thing for me, and this is good for like note taking generally, is you write down the lyrics as you hear them. Again, if you're in a heavier band and you're doing distorted vocals, that's going to be easier said than done. But yeah, actually sitting and listening and pausing every time. So write the phrase, pause it so you can write it down, and then just do that. Because for me, it's not even necessarily that I'm seeing it, because I could read it and it doesn't stick in. It's something about that muscle memory of like actually sitting and writing it. I don't know. That's my biggest thing. But failing that, just be in a punk band or a metal band, and then no one cares. As long as you're doing it loud, no one cares.
That's fair.
And look as cool as you can doing it. That I struggle with, but
oh, but and do you find like some people at your shows like ask you where to find the lyrics?
So we don't actually have any music out yet. Which is my fault. We have a very bad demo and an not great live album on Bandcamp right now, but we recorded all the music back. I know this is not what you're asking, but I'm getting back around to it.
No, it's all good.
Well, this tangent is because I think that people would care more if we had music for them to listen to. Right. But I did make a little zine. I did print out, because somebody had asked me, like a couple of people had asked me, what are you saying up there? So I made like a little paper zine with our lyrics in it, and people take them. I give them out for free at the shows if you want them. I'm like, that touches me, right? I'm like, I wrote those words. If you want to know what they say, that's great. Just to be transparent, Darren did write one of the songs. So all but one of them. but yeah, so because we don't have music out yet, I think that that's less of a thing for people, but I do have it on shows just in case. But we recorded our album with Jonathan Wade of Nerve Damage back in September of last year. And the guys went in there and did it all in one day. We all wanted it to be live in the room. So, I mean, now often with music production, it's everybody's doing their own parts direct into the computer and they assemble it later. That's typically what happens. But we don't play to a click, which is a click track, which is a metronome that the drummers listens to a lot of times. I mean, don't get me wrong. Everybody with every particular instrument and every part of music can get on their high horse about anything. So people like old school guys will be like, "Oh, you play with a click, you're not a real drummer." You know, like kind of like whatever, man. It's I take no sides. I have no dogs in this fight. But we do not play with a click. So playing live all together at the same time was the only way we were going to be able to get it done. So, and the guys did it. They, you know, we had to do a couple songs more than once, but it was like maybe a 10-hour day and they knocked it all out and it sounds great. So the music, and John did an excellent job mixing it. And, you know, they had to go back in for a couple guitar solo, redubs, and the bass tracks had to be redone because the levels were too low. But other than that, it was all that one day. So all that to say, our music's been done for almost a year. Sans the vocals, because I am supposed to be doing them at my house and I have not done them. I have finished exactly 2 songs in 1 year. Hopefully the album will be out before the end of this year. I'm trying really hard. Personal life has gotten in the way, but I'm going to get back to it. I promise. So I think once we have music available for people to listen to, they might care more about the lyrics.
And then when you came up with the lyrics, like what was your process, right? Because I always love to talk to artists about the muse, because the muse, I think, is kind of like a living thing, and you never know like when it's gonna hit, right? Like 2:00 in the morning, you're like, oh, lyric, and like so, like how does the muse sort of visit you?
So Amitai, all these songs were written before I joined the band.
Okay.
With the exception of our newest song, Cirrhosis, which we all wrote together, and it's my favorite song we've done so far. And I wrote it about something personal. Everything else has been a pre-existing song, and I literally just went off of the name of the song. So he was like, "We have a song. This song's called Shevens," and I was like, "Okay." And I was like, "I don't know what that means." So I was like, "I'm gonna Google what Shevens is," and the only thing that came up was this like alien race from a video game called Free Space, and I was like, "Well, they're all dorks. They probably meant the video game." I say that not in a derogatory term. I mean in a loving way. We're all dorks, so you probably mean this video game. He did not. He's like, never heard of that game. I never played that game. I was like, great. Well, I wrote this entire song about it. So which really helps actually I think when you have something that you're a little detached from, it makes writing easier, right? Like how many people write songs about their dogs or to their dogs, right? It's like, time to go get a treat, because it's just like, it doesn't matter, right? You know, like when you have that removal and the pressure is non-existent, it's really easy to bang stuff out. But for me, the writing process per se for metal, at least the style that we do, you know, especially since I do more hardcore style vocals, metal vocals are typically a percussive instrument, right? It's more of a rhythmic thing than it is a lyric thing for a lot, at least the way that I see it. So the way I write is to the downbeats and the syllables. So I write to the structure first and the lyrics second. So I'll listen to the song one time through and feel like where I can fit in. So we also, Thrash Course has a lot of prog elements, which means the time signatures are wacky. And like once the boys start saying numbers, I literally gloss over and stop paying attention. But I know where the downbeat is. I know where it feels good. I know where I cannot step on the guitar work and put a fast something in. So I'll go through and I'll be like, if you listen to like, oh, one go ba 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 ba, that'll work. Okay, so I'll kind of just like write out the syllables and then be like, okay, well, what do I want the song to be about, and then try to structure it in that way. So like, this is a good idea lyrically. How do I fit into these 6 syllables? What synonyms can I use in place of that? We'll still get the point across. So that's how I write. A lot of other people are, because I'm not a writer. I don't consider myself a writer or a lyricist. I mean, I have written the songs, but like, I feel more like a musician in that I'm trying to find that rhythmic thing, right? I'm trying to find a nice addition accompaniment to the music that already exists, versus like I have a poem that I desperately want to get out and let me jam it in there. And that's how a lot of other vocalists would do it. That's my vocal coach. That's how she writes. She's like, no, I'm constantly like, I'll get it in. Don't you worry. I'll figure out how to get it in. And I was like, oh, that's cool. And just kind of thinking about our newest song, I thought more about it that way because I wanted it to be about something personal. So I wanted to make sure what I was saying was clear. So I did. It does force you. It's also like a fun exercise. Instead of being like, oh, I know where the downbeat is, I'll put a syllable each of these places. when you have an idea in mind and you're like, okay, well, how can I creatively still make this make sense rhythmically, because I want this whole phrase to fit. So mostly column A, a little column B. So rhythmic first for me. I think always it's going to be rhythm first for me, and then lyrics second. But yeah, so She Was is about a video game no one has played. And then her song Reaction is about Fallout New Vegas. And the other stuff, it's like, it's all a little bit removed. None of it was really personal. We have like a ballad called Fork Street that's a very Tool inspired song. Unfortunately for me, because I'm not a great singer, it's very difficult. But that was a little more personal, a little more, what's the word I'm looking for? Like a little more cerebral. And then Elysium, our 10-minute song, I wrote the concept of it is like, there's this famous book that, of course, I don't know the title of, where the whole thing takes place in the few moments before someone dies. It's like, oh, I know I'm dying, and then the song ends when you're dead. So that was my idea. It's like, a space.
That's deep.
Right. I think it's pretty cool. So I definitely stole that idea, but I was like, okay, so the song's going to start with I am dying, and then how did we get here, which is like space robot war shit, because all of our stuff is about space wars and stuff, and then ends with the person dying. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of that one, because I was like, like writing to that concept was fun. I like that.
That's actually really cool.
Thanks.
And I appreciate. So you were talking a little bit about the difference in time signatures,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what I crave most when I crave music, is bands that do different time signatures. Can you kind of talk a little bit about what that means?
Yeah. So I'm not a huge music theory person, but most music is written in either a 4/4, which is just a straight 2 3 4 1 2 3 4, right? So each one of those 4 beats is a measure, or and then multiple measures is the phrase, right? But it's straight. You hear it. Like if you can tap your toe to it and you're doing this, it's really straightforward. It's usually a 4/4 beat. Sometimes it can be in 3/4, but yeah. So weird time signatures would be like, Tool is a great example. Prog, which stands for progressive metal or rock bands, like Dream Theater is the one, the craziest, most ridiculous prog band on the planet. But when it's not that simple thing, so it's like 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3 4 5 6 1 2 3, like that.
Yeah.
That's a, I don't know, 6/4 maybe. Okay. I don't know. Again, when the guys say numbers, I'm like,
yeah.
But I know it somewhat, and I should probably be a better musician. But what it does, it makes it automatically stand out. It's like, you might not know music theory, but there's something about it, like, oh, that's a little different. Why is it different? And it's typically that, like, especially if you're listening to, rock and metal, they're gonna more typically, metal especially is more inclined to use weird time signatures. So if you're listening to prog stuff, they exclusively do weird time signature stuff. But it does stand out. And Amitai, that's his whole thing, is like, I don't want to be predictable. And I was like, I get it, but you can quickly alienate your audience if you go too far to the other side, in my opinion. At some point, if you go a little too far on the prog side, you're just making guitar music for guitar guys, right? And it's like, they're going to think you're super cool, man, but you and your one other friend are going to be sad because no one wants to hang out with you because they can't understand the music. And it's like, that's not true. And it's incredibly amazing, and they're talented, and I don't want to take anything away from that. But like most people, it's hard. It's like a lot of complex jazz stuff will turn people off, right?
Yeah.
It's like, because it's challenging, and I think that's great. And we should, as good music listeners with good music hygiene, challenge ourselves, right? But like, sometimes you don't want to go and like mosh and stomp around and have a breakdown that's like disgusting, and just do simple stuff. You know what I mean? So I think there's a good balance in our band, because we all kind of come from different backgrounds. Ami's more of a classical guy. Elliot comes from like folk music. And Mike is like our thrash guy. Like, he's definitely the most true blue thrash guy. He listens to a lot of different stuff too. But and then Darren and I are new metal idiots. So it's like we all bring, like, Darren and I are constantly like, but what about a breakdown? What if we just like make it dumber just a little bit? Just for right here. So people, because you do want that moment of like everybody together, like headbanging. And when we're counting weird times, it's like, what do I do? But Ami's good about making it still accessible. You want to walk that line of not boring, but not inaccessible. So I think we do a pretty good job of it. for the most part.
Yeah, and then like also with the clever time signatures, I would imagine, and correct me if I'm wrong, as long as they repeat sort of in the same order, in the same fashion, then people can still sort of get to it, right?
Yes, but sorry, I'm eye rolling because like Ami's like, yeah, okay, so we'll do that for 2 measures, but then we'll totally mess it up right after that. I'm like, dude, you're killing me. But I love it. It's good. It's good. And I think that like they needed a vocalist, not me, a vocalist to tie that together, because I think that because of the way that I approach it with the downbeats, I'm so heavy on that. If you follow me, you can kind of figure it out because I try to keep it pretty the same. So even if they're like, well, we changed it right here, but nobody like, but as long as there's something to hold on to, then you can typically get it. So I think we're a good mix, honestly. It's not too out there.
And one of the things, hold on a second. So one of the things also that I wanted to touch base on, because you have a show coming up that is very unique with the Femme Fatale.
Yeah.
And I'm super excited to be going to that. Can you tell people about it?
Yes, I would love to. I didn't know this when this was going to come out, so I wasn't sure if I could talk about it. I would love to talk about it. Yeah, so the Femme Fatale Fest is a 2-day festival, August 1st and 2nd, Friday and Saturday at the Twilight Cafe and Bar in Portland. We're playing August 1st, so that Friday. But yeah, it's all, I think it's all female fronted bands, but it might be there's like a female in the band. I'm not sure that necessarily the vocalist or the front person is a woman. Anyway, but the whole show is a benefit for Rosehaven, which is a day shelter in Portland, serving women and marginalized genders. And it's a great cause, and it's a really rad thing. Alexis Moore, who is the bassist for Bone Brothel, and an amazing artist and an amazing organizer, is the person putting it on. She did it for the first time last year, and it was a success. I went and I was like, this is so rad. I would love to be on this next year, and so she sent out the applications earlier this year, and I was like, please let us be on this. And yeah, it's great. I mean, it's really nice to be able to, like, again, we didn't talk about that money piece. It's like, we don't care, man. We don't care. I would absolutely love to give my money to this great organization, and to have Alexis organize this all herself is like, I mean, I'm sure she had help, but like, yeah, that flyer, that's all her art. She's like, and she's a killer bassist. Her band Bone Brothel is coming out with an album on the 1st. I think they're releasing it. And it's just really cool to be a part of it. Cause okay, let's see if I get myself in trouble on this. There is a archetype in especially heavier music where it's like, we can allow a woman to be the front person as long as they look a specific kind of way. And I do not fit that archetype. I think I said that as definitely as I possibly could. So I always thought I would never have a chance on something like this, right? Because it's like, I don't super look the part. I mean, I don't look the part anywhere, but like, it's like, but I am a lady and I want to help ladies, please. So I was really glad that, that wasn't a thing. And I mean, I'm sure I should have, there was no reason to worry. Portland's not like that. But it is a concern that I had. I was like, shit, man, we're never going to be able to do anything like this. But we are, and I'm very excited about it. We're also going to donate any money that we make from merch sales that day to Rosehaven too. So you can support us by supporting them, and I think it's going to be a great time. It's so cool that she was able to do it for 2 days in a row this time, and I hope it just gets bigger and bigger. I wish nothing but the best for Alexis. She's like an amazing person, and she does a lot for the community. And check her out. Check out Bone Brothel. Their album drops on the 1st of August, and come to the Femme Fatale Fest, Twilight Cafe and Bar. I think it's 8 p.m. Don't quote me on that. Let's say 7 to be safe.
Yeah.
August 1st and 2nd. Please and thank you.
And then in terms of like community, because one of the things that I talk about a lot on this podcast is about acceptance and awareness, and just how important it is for people to be non-judgmental. And I'm curious if you've experienced sort of like what I've been experiencing in this last couple of years, especially in the Portland area. There's a lot less judgmental people out here than I've had. Like, I used to live in Seattle where everybody was judgy, and like it was like the Seattle freeze is a legit thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Like I lived in a place for 10 years and I didn't know any of the names of my neighbors. Like we just didn't, like, it wasn't a thing. And so you come to Salem, you come to places like McMinnville or Portland, and I'm allowed to be my authentic self without fear of repercussions. And that's huge.
Yeah.
And have you found the same sort of experience in the music scene yourself?
Yeah, I think that the heavy music scene is particularly good about that. I wouldn't say that's necessarily like I'm focused on the heavy music scene, obviously, because that's kind of my niche. But we have a ton of bands. Period. I think there's like 1,200 bands in Portland right now. So literally every night of the week, even if you don't like heavy music, you can see something for cheap. I can't really speak to those other scenes, but I think because the heavy music scene is so insular, you can't be a jerk. Like you can't because you're gonna upset some sound guy who works at every venue you play at, or you're gonna upset a band that plays with all the bands you play with, and it's like if you were a jerk, it's gonna word will get around fast, and it's luckily nobody is. I don't know that I like to throw out this hippies are mean people cosplaying as being nice people, and metal people are nice people cosplaying as being mean people, right? It's like everybody's a softie. It's like, yeah, you're wearing all black and you got like spikes all over you and whatever. And it's like, no, they're just like, and then you talk to them like, hi, oh my God, I love that band. Like, it's everybody's really chill. So, I'm not going to say that Portland as a whole is not necessarily judgmental as like people that aren't, in the metal community, as it were. I don't know, but I've been really fortunate so far. I'm not saying there aren't jerks out there, and I'm sure there are, but like at least in my niche, so far so good. I will say, I'm very happy about that. Oh, we need to give a shout out to Martin.
Yeah.
I wanted to say thank you to Martin for letting us shoot here. Real Hollywood Video, McMinnville. Stop on by. It's rad as hell. And sometimes he does shows here. Don't tell anybody because your punk's gonna knock down this door. But it's rad as hell. Tell your friends. Anyway,
And it's so awesome to have the experience to do this show from here too.
Yeah,
because it's like when I first stepped in this place, I was like, "Oh, this is the coolest thing
man.
ever." So I agree 100%.
Keep small businesses alive. Support local music.
It's key.
Yeah,
it's key.
That's community, man.
Yeah, because like every dollar you invest in your local business stays in your local community. Right. Every dollar you invest in a national conglomeration, kind of half of it leaves your local community. And so anything you can do to support your local musicians, for example, tip the band, please. Like, I can't stress that enough. Like, and don't throw in 30 cents. Like, these people are working really hard. Like, toss them $5. You're spending $10 on a drink anyway. Take half a drink off and just throw in $5 to the band. Like, it's not going to cost you that much, but it could, like, it make a difference in somebody else's life. So I always throw that out there.
Yeah.
And so, like, one of the things I'm curious too, especially like with the hard metal scene, and like the like, how important is acoustics in a venue for thrash metal?
Sorry, I'm the wrong person to ask. So one of the best things about Thrash Course is we're very punk rock in that we can play literally anywhere as long as you have power, because we just have tiny little combo amps and Elliot's drum kit, and Darren's got a bass cat. It's like not even, so you can see these guys with giant stacks and like all these cabinets, all this stuff, and people have these big rigs for their electronics because they use lots of samples, or they just have their in-ear monitor, like, or whatever it is. They have a lot of electronics, and I've seen a show at Dante's where one of the bands couldn't play because their computer stuff wasn't working. And I am not judging that. I think it's rad as hell, and there's a lot of sounds you cannot achieve without that technology. I totally understand that, but it is nice to know that we can roll up as long as there's a PA and we have power, we can play. Like, we'll be totally fine. And that happened to us. We went to this all ages show, which was rad, at the basement of the Chinese place in Albany. And they just set up and they had a PA, but there's no sound people. They couldn't mic the amps. And it was like, well, shit, we'll just do our best. And I was like, I don't know if anybody can hear me, but I'm just going to scream my guts out. So for me, like, I almost never am able to hear myself, and I just don't. I'm so used to that, and I'm so loud. I'm so much louder than most vocalists, just because of the way that I scream. Because again, with that fry screaming, and that's a lot of metal, especially metalcore, is almost exclusively that fry sound. It's really quiet, so it's important that you balance that stuff. For me, I'm just, dude, you could hear me at the back of the room. Like, yeah, it doesn't matter if I have a mic or not sometimes. So I'm not the right person to ask, but I'm sure it matters. I'm sure people really care about sound. And as long as I can hear Elliot, like our drummer, he's the one I listen to the most. So as long as I can hear him, and he plays the loudest acoustic instrument, I'm okay.
And that's kind of the reason I asked, right? Because like I've seen that where you just roll up in like one outlet and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
And that's just not all bands have that luxury.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's so much like Vintersea, who's gosh, they're one of my favorite bands. They're incredible. They are a melodic death metal band, and Kayla Dixon, who's their vocalist, is amazing. But she has layers of vocals in there so that she can do these beautiful harmonies and stuff. And it's like she can't do that if the rig's not working, you know. So it's like that. Not disparaging in any way. It's just like it's all electronics, man. It's just one more thing in the signal chain to break. That's it. That's it. I mean, guitar pedals. You get too crazy with the guitar pedals. There's a fuse or some shit broken in one of the pedals, and now you don't know. Now you're sitting on the floor, and now you've eaten 20 minutes out of your set because you can't get your. You know what I mean? All right, guys. I think Amitai has one pedal.
What?
Yeah, and it was like a fight to get that one. I think Mike just got a pedal too. It's just I don't know, man. I'm telling you, these guys, we're just ready to go.
Okay, in a way that's amazing, in a way that just kind of blows my mind,
That's
right?
pretty
Because
insane.
like when I see like a Brandon Logan play, right, and he's got like 10 pedals,
Mhm.
and like most blues musicians I see like have 10 pedals, and so the idea that you come with one pedal, that's freaking awesome.
It just depends. It just depends on the sound you're trying to achieve, right? We don't have a
Yeah.
lot of layers. We don't like mess with. I mean, for what it's worth, we probably should have like a little bit of a chorus or a delay or something on the guitars to get more different sounds. But I don't know. We just like go in, bang it out, and leave.
Yeah,
It's fun. It's nice.
that's awesome.
Mhm.
Yeah, and so we only have a few minutes left for this hour. How can people find your music?
Oh, if only it was done. It will be on Bandcamp once the album. We have music on Bandcamp and Spotify. But like I said, it's like we have a not good demo, which was just stuff that they had recorded before I joined the band, and then a live record from that Route 30 show. Record. But hopefully soon. And Trues is actually on Bandcamp. They have a full album. It's vocals before I joined the band. But yeah, they have an EP, like a 6-song EP on there. It's really, really good. I love Trues. I mean, that's why I instantly was like, yes, let me join the band, because the music is like, it is a little more straightforward. It's very like dancey. And when I say dancey, I mean obviously like moshy, but but yeah. So Spotify for Thrash Course, Spotify and Bandcamp for Trues, for sure. So, but hopefully soon, Thrash Course record soon, and I'd like to put together an album release show once that's done, and hopefully at an all ages space, because we really enjoy doing all ages shows. That's what's up. So yeah, that's it.
The last thing I'll ask, because I'm just curious, like if you were to be able to say to somebody who's possibly thinking about joining a band or wanting to join a band, but they're stopped because they don't think they fit the look or they don't fit the mold, what would you say to them?
Oh yeah, man, metal is for everybody. Metal is for everybody. If you like it, you're in, and don't let anybody tell you any differently. That's it, 100%. Because this gatekeepy bullshit of you needed to follow some kind of uniform or rep some certain thing. No, if you like it, you deserve to be there. You have my word.
Thank you so much, Kelly.
Thanks, Sean. This is so fun.
We'll close the podcast out like I always do. We share the same space, people. Be kind, treat other people with kindness, and this world will be a better place. Kelly, thank you.
Yeah.
And thank you, Real Hollywood
Thank
Video.
you.
I look forward to doing more of these. And thank you for McMinnville and this welcoming from the community. If you're in McMinnville, stop by Real Hollywood Video. And if you haven't been to McMinnville, you got to come out and check this place out.
Heck yeah.
I love this community. Have a good night, everybody.
Thank you.
And we're clear.
Woo.